Hello, YouTube. Welcome in, everyone. Let me know if you're watching live. Happy Friday. For my Million Dollar Babe YouTube membership members, I just posted the prayer, affirmation, and inner work prompt. So in case you guys haven't seen that, you can find that in the community tab. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Friday. And today we're talking about how to stop seeking validation, approval, permission from men or other people in your life, right? Because we all do it, we've all done it. And these are the women that completely lose themselves in the relationship, completely lose themselves. And when you're not there, when you've lost yourself, the person that you most seek validation from can't give it to you. Because you're not even there to validate. It's not even you. It's not even you. There's no one there. I know that this has been my experience, that when I've lost myself in relationship, and this is not just romantic relationships, this is in any relationship, the person that I was losing myself into, or the relationship, or the merging with, those are the exact people that start devaluing you, getting annoyed of you, being irritated of you, not wanting to validate anything. Because you're not even there. There's nothing to validate. There's nothing. There's just attachment. There's just illusion. There's just fear. That's not love. That's not love. So there's two parts of us. We've talked about this before. There's the human part, the survival part, the animal part. And then there's the spirit part, the divine part. The part that's connected with divinity, with God consciousness, the super consciousness, right? The super consciousness, the divine part of us, the spirit part loves. That's the only part of us that knows how to love unconditionally. The human part, the animal part, does not love. It seeks survival. It pretends to love, but it's actually just seeking safety and survival. Think of it this way, and I think this is important to kind of talk about as we go into this topic with men, even though this is kind of unrelated, but related. When a woman is kind of, like in overprotective drive mode regarding her kids, what do we say about her? We say, oh, the mama bear came out, right? What do we say about that woman? The mama bear came out. We are basically comparing her to an animal. Why? Because she's acting like an animal. She's in survival. She's like, don't get near my kids. That's not love. That's survival. That's survival. Those are instincts. A bear can do that too. So can a lion. That's not coming from divinity. That's coming from animalistic instincts. That's not love. Love is unconditional. Love is accepting. Love is just radiating and animating love from within, regardless of how the other person shows up. Regardless of if they disappoint you or not, if they validate you or not, if they give you the approval that you see, it's a divine love. There's no conditions attached to it. So this is important because when we are seeking approval or validation or permission, we are in survival. We seem to think that if this person doesn't validate me, somehow I will die. Somehow I will not be surviving. I won't be in control. I'll lose resources. I will get kicked out of the tribe and I will die. Like, it all leads back to the ego, the animal part going, I'm going to die. But are you really going to die if someone doesn't give you validation? In the systems that we live now, I get it in the tribal days for all of evolution. I get why it's like that. I get why it's programmed. There's a reason for it. But in the systems that we live now, with the rights that we have now, with the welfare system and the police system and the roads and the communities that we live in and the support systems that we have now, are you really going to die if someone doesn't give you validation? No. But your primitive brain seems to think that it will, and it acts accordingly. So when a woman is not connected to her divine feminine, when she's not connected to the divine part of her that's in communication with God all the time, She's going to be seeking validation, approval, and permission from everyone and anything that moves outside of her in hopes that she can survive. So these are internal conversations that I had to have with myself during my own journey that, Mina, you will not die if someone doesn't compliment you, or if your husband doesn't do this, or da-da-da-da-da, whatever it was. That's where the inner work comes in. You are not going to die. It's that's just your primitive brain. The brain, remember, does not know how to love. The brain just seeks survival. The brain does not know how to love. The divine part of you is love. That's all it's made of, is love. The brain seeks fear. Okay, is there a problem in the environment? If there isn't, let's just assume there is and create something, because the people who were always looking out for problems for millions of years when there were real problems, a lot of them, they survived. And the people that got too comfortable in the wilderness died because they may have run out of food, someone may have attacked, they may have had diseases and didn't move accordingly or act accordingly. Their genes didn't survive. So we inside of us carry the genes of the people that were hyper vigilant in the environment, going, is there a threat? I should prepare. I should always keep my eyes on the problems to see if there's a threat. Except there's no threats now. Hardly any. We live in, at least in first world, right? In first world countries, we live in fairly safe societies now. This may not be true everywhere in the world, but if you're one of my followers, it's probably true for you. If you have internet access and a device to watch this on, you're probably good. I'm going to assume you're probably good. But because the brain doesn't know how to rest until you train it to rest, you have to train your brain to get out of survival. You're going to constantly be seeking control, seeking validation, seeking approval, seeking permission from other people. It's like you seek permission. May I breathe now? May I do this? Will you validate me still if I do this? No validation required, no permission required. You don't need any of it. That's all an illusion of the brain, of the primitive brain. It's all an illusion. It's not needed. You are free to move about the cabin. Like there's no danger. Like you can move freely. You can do whatever the hell you want. And no one's going to die and you're not going to die. Hi, Kay. Yes. I love that meditation little, yes. And I love that she's wearing purple, at least on my screen. Thank you, Samantha, for the compliment. I refuse to be driven by fear. Yes, especially when there's no tigers watching us. There's no tigers, right? Like I shared with you guys in the other video that I did, the live stream, where I said that if there's an actual threat, what I consider an actual threat, I tell myself, Mina, you are allowed to freak out if one of these things happen, right? If there is a tiger watching you, an actual physical threat, to, God forbid, you're ill or a family member is ill, that's an actual thing. Like you can worry about that and then surrender to God and ask for assistance. That's fine. That's a real thing that our ancestors used to deal with. So the brain knows what to do with it. Or if you are in immediate threat of running out of food. We used to be able to last for days without food. Days. There's research done on this. Like we can last like months without food, right? So if I know that food will be available in the next 7 days, I'm not going to freak out because I know that we'll be fine. So those are actual threats. Anything other than that, it is something you can resolve and solve. Like I would say 98% of it is probably stuff that your brain's just creating, over amplifying, looking for trouble because you didn't know how to train your brain yet. You have to train your brain. You have to train it. And it will put up a fight of a lifetime because you're retraining millions of years of evolution. But I'm here to tell you, as someone that's done it, took me a long time, but I said I was going to die trying. I'm here to tell you it's possible. I've helped hundreds of clients, thousands of students do the same thing now. You can train your brain to live in peace because there is peace. Fear is just an illusion in the world that we live in now. Thank you. I think it's Lachelle. I got it from Amazon. Thank you. This is so true. It's mind over matter. Yes. Yes. Everything is energy, and we use our mental capacities to create matter from that energy. So if you're always looking for fear, more fear will keep showing up because the brain is getting sicker and sicker every time you entertain. That's why I'm not even a huge fan of overanalyzing situations, because that just makes the brain sicker. It's like you're feeding into the addictions of the brain. You're just giving it more cocaine in hopes of like it will figure out why it doesn't need cocaine, right? It's like, no, it's just, that's just a deeper addiction. It's just more of the same. Charisma said, Mina, I need you to know your videos are really helping me. I'm pulling myself out of the gutter. You are going from rock bottom to rock star. We've talked about this. The only place to go from rock bottom is rock star. And I know some people get really offended when I use the word rock bottom, but I love that word. Every single time in my life that I've hit rock bottom, where I've been cut open, where I've been crying, where I'm just like, God, pull me out of this. I'm giving you full permission to drag me out of this mess. That's been the biggest transformation in my life. Those have been the moments where, those were my rock star moments, really. Those were my rock star moments. Because those were the moments where the old me died and the new me emerged. Mira said this channel is changing me. I found you last week. Subscribe to Self-Aware Barbie. Just so excited to finally meet my real me. Yes, Mira. So excited to have you. Yay. Yes, the real us, the true us, the authentic us is not the version of us that lashes out. It's not the version of us that gets triggered. It's not the version of us that makes excuses, that looks for problems, that seeks validation, that looks for permission, that all of that stuff. That is not the real us. That's not us. That's all the conditioning. It's all the illusions. It's all the BS. That's not who you are. I feel like I look totally green with this lighting. I think I'm going to go with this one. Oopsie. Okay, much better. I feel like that's so much me. Is this making sense to you guys? You will not die if someone doesn't validate you. Is it better to think intuitively, creatively versus logically? So the question is it better to use your legs or your hands? Depends on the situation, right? If you're trying to walk, use your legs. If you're trying to hold something, use your arms. So is it better to think intuitively, creatively versus logically? It depends on the situation. It depends on what you're doing. Both. And another way of saying it is, should I use the right side of my brain or the left side? Both. Both. In fact, they're finding that the most intelligent people, both emotionally intelligent and intelligent in all ways, are people that have trained their brains to function where they're using both sides. That's intelligence. That's real intelligence. So you use both. Yes, I'm dealing with my triggers better this week, saying this doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy and fun. It's like magic so far. Yes, Justine, it really is magic. It's really magic because you're retraining your brain out of the illusion of threats all the time. Miss Colette said, I agree. This channel is so helpful. It's funny how I thought I was practicing self-care until I realized with some of your videos and guess that I actually wasn't. Negative self-talk, bad energy. Yes, your energy is everything. Your vibration is everything. That's the instructions that you're sending out to the field to create and every cell in your body. Whether you think negative thoughts or positive thoughts determines whether you will be ill or not, how fast you will heal or not. It determines what you notice. It determines what kind of relationship you have, whether you allow yourself to have money or not, whether you allow yourself to have an easy life or a difficult life, these are all choices and decisions that you make every single day, multiple times a day, moment to moment for yourself. So ask yourself, am I choosing fear or am I choosing love? Am I choosing fear or am I choosing love? Moment to moment, every moment, you will have to ask. When you're beginning your inner work, you will have to ask yourself hundreds of times. In the beginning, you will. Eventually, it's going to be less and less and less and less. But I'm still in that point where I'm like, Mina, are you making this way more complicated than it needs to be? I still have to say that to myself. Take notes, ladies. This is literal wealth manifesting abundantly. Yes, it always starts with the mind. It does. That's why when people ask me nonsense questions and then they get triggered, it's like, I'm not saying you are nonsense. I'm saying don't waste your precious mental creation energy on nonsense stuff. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know, it's like if I had, and I'm not saying that this is what it is, but I'm just converting it into dollars to show you guys. Let's say that I had an allocation from God that you have $1,000 to spend in mental energy every day. I'm not going to sit around using that mental energy and asking myself nonsense questions like, oh, does he love me? Is everyone going to approve of me on YouTube today? Are some people going to get mad if I say this? What BS? I'm going to show up and I'm going to use my mental currency to create healing in the people that are wanting healing, to create peace, joy, and abundance for myself and my family, to create a frequency of high vibrations to send out into the planet, hopefully for the collective consciousness. That's what I'm using my money for. What are you doing with your currency? And the thing with this is the mental energy and the hours in the day is that we all have the same amount. Some people are just using it for nonsense and then sit around complaining, oh, well, that person's just lucky and they were born rich and they were beautiful and they had better hair than I did. Use your mental energy to create better hair. This is an interesting one. And maybe this isn't a good example because I haven't had my hair done in months because of COVID. My friend that does my hair got COVID. So I was like, okay, we're going to take a break. So I used to lose hair by the globs in my teens and 20s and early 30s. Like my mom used to joke, my mom and dad used to joke that I could go into the wig business. That's how much hair I was losing. Like they were like, you can recycle this hair, Mina. My dad used to constantly compare that they have to buy so many vacuum cleaners because my hair would destroy the vacuum cleaner, right? Because it would get rolled up in there. And then I was like, Mina, you know how to create. Why aren't you using this to create hair? And I started saying, instead of saying I hate my hair, I have bad hair genes, everyone in my family loses hair, like all that nonsense. I started saying, I have the most gorgeous hair on the planet. My hair just grows and grows and grows, and it's so healthy and it's so shiny, and I've got a full head of hair. And one thing led to another. Things happened. I had a diagnosis that was made. That was the reason I was losing hair. I started a whole healthy eating journey and lifestyle change, and my hair stopped falling out. Now, some people will say, well, because you did that, but it doesn't matter. I changed my thinking. I sent out a different frequency. The right books, doctors, diagnosis, vitamins, diet showed up, and my hair stopped falling out. I don't worry about the how. I don't tie God's hand behind his back by saying, well, that's not a manifestation. If you F that stuff. Someone wrote to me years ago when I had bought my my car. Someone said, well, that's not really a manifestation because you already had the money. Yeah, I don't care how God pays me. God can bring the car to me. He can give me the money. He can gift me, surprise me. I have no weirdness around how it shows up. Just give it to me. I'm here. I've decided, go ahead and bring it on. But people have all kinds of weird rules around how they have to receive it, where it has to come from. Someone has to be hanging upside down. Someone has to be smiling when they hand it over to you. Who the hell cares? Who cares how it shows up? Just give it to me. I'm ready. Here, bring it on. I'll take it in any shape, form, or currency. Just bring it on. So What are you deciding to focus your precious life force energy on? What are you deciding? What are you deciding? I'm deciding right now that everyone's going to give me more thumbs up on this video so that more people can see it who need to see it. I'm deciding right now. Let's see what happens. Hello, Bon. Hi, Justine. You're so right. That's the way to think. Yes. Yes. Why else would I be using my creative force energy for nonsense stuff? See, more likes showed up. All I had to do was ask. It's that easy. It's that easy. How to stop being attention seeker. Decide. Decide. I don't need anybody else's attention. I'm worthy because God made me worthy. And I'm here to give myself attention. I'm here to seek God's attention. Hi, God. Here I am reconnecting with you. Sorry, I got lost for a moment. I'm back. Give yourself the attention that you desire, and not in that superficial, like, I'm going to go get a mani and pedi. Nothing wrong with that. I used to get those too pre-COVID. But in the sense of like really sitting with yourself and saying, oh my God, what's going on? Where have I been? Who conditioned me? And how can I condition myself out of it? Yes, it's real, crystals. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Rakila. So happy. I'm deciding my podcast is a success. I'm deciding to serve the people who resonate with my message. I'm deciding to allow in all money from all sources. Yes, Abby. Yes, 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 yes. Why limit the universe? Why limit consciousness? Yes. And I'm going to throw in my CEO, boss, babe, queen, because I feel like you're such a good match for that. You're already there. That's that queen consciousness energy, that divine spiritual business energy that we're creating in there. So we're enrolling right now for the CEO Boss Queen. I do have a limited spots in there. So if it's calling to you, like, grab it. And the other thing is the Call in Your Masculine Provider Divine Union program. That one starts on Monday, 222. And the pre-sale bonuses and price will end on Monday. So grab that if it's calling to you. Thank you, Reina. You're such a blessing. Yay. So how do we stop seeking approval? Decide that you don't need it anyways. It's an illusion that you need someone else to approve of you. It's an illusion. It's a lie. Who said that? Who said that you need someone's approval? Well, I mean, scientifically, I know where that's coming from. It's our primitive brain from like millions of years of evolution. But right now, you get to decide that we are no longer living in small tribes where we're so dependent on seeking someone's approval or we're going to die. You can decide that with your new consciousness now. You can upgrade your primitive brain through your consciousness, through your decisions. You can upgrade it. I struggle with my own approval so much, let alone other people's. Justine, then the affirmation is, I approve of myself because God approves of me. God made me. I am worthy just because I am. And therefore, I get to create and do and be whatever I feel like doing, whatever feels good to me, but not because I'm seeking anyone's attention or approval. I don't need to do anything to be worthy. I don't have to do anything to be worthy. I just am. And from there, life becomes easy because then you just do whatever you feel like doing because it's fun and not because I have to get a PhD so everyone can love me and I can be special, or I have to be rich because then everyone can love me into the special rich girl club or whatever the hell it is in your mind, right? No, I get to be rich because I feel like being rich and I decided. I get to be successful in whatever I create because I decided I'm going to be successful because I just am going to be. I decided. You get to do it from a place of true freedom and liberation. That's it. CEO Boss Babe is so calling to me. I decide the money will come if it's God's will. Doing the 21-day program now. Yes, decide. Don't say if it's God's will, because then God's waiting on you and you're waiting on God. You tell God what you want and you have faith, and then God delivers. That's it. When we say God's will, God's actually awaiting our directions on what you need. So then it's like you're in this weird cycle of like, you go first. No, you go first. No, you hang up first. No, you do this first. It's like, no, you just decide. God, you put the desire in my heart. So obviously you've decided. And now I'm deciding and I'm allowing you to give me the money. That's it. Easy. I love it and it's so true. Hearing you out loud makes sense. Yes. Fun and creativity will replace the fear vibration every time. Yes. Because think about it. When would we ever have fun? We would have fun when everything in survival was taken cared for. Like the food was there for our ancestors. There was no one dying of disease. People felt safe. That's when they would have fun. So when you're having fun, you're sending a very strong signal to every cell in your body. Vesna said, hi, Mina. I joined the Basic Babe bundle and taking my time with it. Can you talk about how we can create our own masculine container? I'm healing my wounded feminine, but feel like I lack masculine. So Vesna, that's in the next portion of that's the next phase. So do the Basic Babe bundle first. And after that is the self-aware activated Barbie bundle. And the masculine container, what it looks like for me is that there's nothing in me, there's no energy in me that says the masculine energy is bad, ever. Masculine energy is great, it's good in me and in my partner. And I get to choose and decide when I'm going to use it. So that means that I'm not sitting at work going, oh no, my work is masculine and now I'm going to be masculine and now I can't be feminine and now no man's going to want me. No, I get to be masculine at work and I get to be feminine at home or in my relationship. I get to be both and I get to choose what I'm going to animate at any given moment, depending on the circumstances. Just like you get to choose whether you're going to use your right hand or left hand, whether you're going to use your legs or your arms, like we're choosing this, right? Like based on the circumstances, that's how your masculine container gets to be. That it's as easy as that, but we complicate it. So after you do the Basic Babe bundle, if you move on to the Self-Aware Barbie Activated, that container, that program will help you automate 12 areas of your life: your finances, your relationship, your mindset, your beauty, your health, like all of those. There's 12 different programs in that container that will help you automate so that everything gets to be easy. It gets to be exactly what it wants you to be. You get to change it. Like I'm very minimalistic in my wardrobe and how I organize things and how many items I have in my house, because that's the masculine practical side of me that says, you know what, I get overwhelmed when there's too many things, when there's too much clutter. So I'm going to keep my environment very minimalist, but very high vibration. We have less things, but everything's good quality. I get to enjoy everything. There's no clutter. That's the masculine side of me. The feminine side then gets to enjoy and have fun and relax because there isn't so much to clean and so much to organize and so much chaos all the time, right? The feminine is okay with a little bit of chaos, and you have to be, but I also know my limits, and I know that my family just doesn't do, like even my kids, they don't like the house when it's cluttered. Irfan starts complaining if the house is cluttered. So I know like that the masculine container part is the practical part, is the rational part, is the part that says, do we really need 30 knickknacks, right? So that's the container so that the feminine can flow. The feminine, you cannot be feminine without masculine container. You can't. The feminine cannot exist without the masculine container. I know the feminists that are going to have a field day with this, but you simply can't. That's why the more feminist you are, the more masculine you end up becoming, because you can't. There is no femininity without the masculine container. It doesn't exist. We need both. We need both. That's the first lesson actually of the Divine Union program. We're going to dive in deep into that. There is no feminine energy without masculine container. Show me any feminine woman, put her in the wilderness with no masculine support, she will stand up as the masculine herself. She will be in survival. She will be hunting. She will be looking out for threats. She will step in as the masculine. You cannot be feminine without the masculine container. The sooner you recognize that we need both masculine and feminine energy, the better and easier your life will be. the better and easier. Let's see. Hi Mina, what's the difference between the $1 million babe between the $1 million manifesting babes and $1 million babe money course? That's a great question. So the $1 million manifesting babes is a manifesting program. So it's really rewiring yourself to see that God consciousness is unlimited, source is unlimited, and you can create, and God and higher beings, angels are always supporting you in creating anything that you want to and manifesting anything that you want to. And there's a lot of content in there, lots and lots of content in there around manifesting. The $1 million Babe Money course is just about money. It's about removing your limiting beliefs around money, all the nonsense that your parents and society and culture has programmed you regarding money itself. And in there, we work through our old limiting patterns and beliefs around money. And then we work together on manifesting, slowly building the container to manifest more and more and more money. So I share with you the exact process that I've used from going from, earning $50 a month from my YouTube channel to, earning $100 a month to earning multiple six figures a month from slowly creating that container. And, this isn't about going from like 0 to $1 million overnight. No one can do that. We burst our energetic container and we fall back just like lottery winners. But it's about slowly, energetically clearing out the nonsense and expanding the container to receive more and more and more money. Now, the process that I share in there, technically, here's a side hint. You can use that process to expand your container in love and health and other areas too. But in that course, we're talking about money. So I hope that answers that question. I think there was a super chat that I missed. Let me catch it here. Hi, Karma. Thank you for the super chat. I know my self-worth, but I feel like men only chase me for sex. It sucks when they do everything to get me, but when it's no sex, different energy. Okay, so that's a limiting belief. The limiting belief is that men only want sex from me. So now that's your limiting belief, that must show up. That's a vibrational match for you. So until you can go back and stare that limiting belief in the face, and I would say write it in your journal and really stare at it, and then you have to work through it. And if that's what you believe, it will consistently show up. The universe is very consistent, let me tell you. It has to be. Think about it. If the universe wasn't consistent, we'd fall off the planet, right? The sun wouldn't show up. The moon wouldn't show up. Like, things would fall out of alignment really, really quickly, but they don't, because it's very consistent. What you believe will consistently show up for you. Choose new belief systems and new things will show up. So now we know your limiting belief. Is that what you want to choose to believe moving forward? Right? Advice for finding love as a single mother? Decide. When I was a single mother, I decided that I got to have love, and he would get to meet my love list, and he would love my child as he was his own. He would provide for me, he would love me, he would cherish me, and actually he would love me even more because I was a single mother, because that's exactly what he would be looking for. I decided, and that's exactly what showed up. And my son is 16 now, and we're happily married. We've got 3 kids. It worked out exactly as I said, as I decided. Exactly. In fact, if I'm being honest, it worked out better than I thought, because God also added some grace in there. You get to decide. Brenda said, hi, Mina, I'm afraid when I get it, I will sabotage it, like getting my dream man, yet I'm not healed. But why do you think this happens? It happens when we haven't decided, and we haven't done the inner work, and we haven't believed that we're worthy of it, so then we choose to sabotage it so that we can, like, whatever you believe in your subconscious, that's comfortable for you. So if you believe I'm not worthy, if the man shows up because you somehow hacked the manifesting for a little bit, but you haven't done the inner work, I promise you, you will sabotage it. I almost did. I almost sabotaged this marriage, the love of my life. Almost sabotage it, because the minute I got married and I was like, oh my God, I got everything I wanted, there was a part of me that was like, well, you're not deserving of this. Your parents always said you were never going to get married and you'd never be happy and this and this and this. How dare you? But I woke up that I was ruining everything. That's why I say you have to do the inner work. You have to do the inner work. Do you have any advice on finding love during the pandemic? So get rid of the belief that it's going to be hard finding love during the pandemic, and decide that you get to find love regardless of what's happening in the world. People found love during World War II. People found love during all kinds of situations. There's so many stories about stuff like that, right? So you get to find love because you get to decide, and you get to ask, and God gets to deliver it. And there's nothing from the outside that can stop you once you decide. You have to decide. Every single thing that people say to me, I can see the limiting beliefs in them. Because, I mean, one of the reasons is because this is what I do, right? But watch your own limiting beliefs. That's why journaling is so gold, because when you write stuff down and you're like, oh my God, where did that come from? Where am I getting this from? That's not true. So where are these beliefs coming from? The past, right? But are there something that is, are these the beliefs that you would choose from yourself now? No. Choose new beliefs. Change your beliefs, change your life. That needs to be a whole lifestyle live stream on its own. That's basically the Basic Babe Bundle course. Change your beliefs, change your life. If you refuse to change your beliefs, a part of you wants this life. Recognize it then, and then just enjoy that. There's nothing wrong with it. Then just enjoy that. What do you decide for yourself? What do you get to have? What do you allow? And what do you clear out to make space for it? So the thoughts, like, this is the stuff we're going to be working through in the Divine Union program, the Call in Your Masculine Provider, is that you can't have the vibration of men are bad and they want me for sex, whilst also wanting a great relationship. Those two things, those two vibrations cannot reside in the same vessel, and then you attract what you want. That's not how it works. There can be no duplicity between those two things. Like, it needs to be like, I get to have it and I have it. He gets to show up, and he gets to show up in the most loving way. And I get to live happily ever after without sabotaging it. I get to attract the man and keep the man, which are two different skill sets. You will often hear me saying this. Attracting a man and keeping a man in a long-term, happy, romantic relationship where he's fully providing and taking care of you, two different skill sets. Two different skill sets. Some people will learn one and then they'll think that's it. That's all the inner work. No, inner work is a constant lifelong thing. There's always going to be next layers and next levels. And I love it. Like, that part excites me. The part that says, oh my God, it's 2021. I wonder who I'm going to become next, is the part that, like, lights up my soul. Because every year I become a better and better and better and truer and truer and truer version of myself. And I'm like, oh my God, just when I thought this was the best, I get better. I get smarter, right? I learn more. I do more inner work. Jesse said, hi, Mina. How do you tell the difference between self-sabotage and something that is just not meant for you? Self-sabotage feels gross and yucky. And something that's not meant for you, when it falls away, you feel better. You feel more joyful. Love always feels amazing. It feels like joy. It feels like bliss. It feels expansive. Fear, self-sabotage, something that's not meant for you, like things like that, like if you're keeping them, that's not going to feel good. do the love hate exercise in the basic babe bundle. I think you have that program, and you'll know self-sabotage, run it through your body, and you'll know it feels gross and yucky and so constricting. And then run the falling away of something that doesn't suit you, it's not meant for you, and that's going to feel expansive. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm free, thank God that thing fell away. Should have fallen away years ago, right? That's the difference. How often do you repeat affirmations throughout the day to focus? How do you balance it with action? I don't really like the word balance. I like the word harmony better. I repeat affirmations millions of times a day. Millions. I've also said in previous live streams, say it like a psychopath. Say, like, your family should be concerned for you and your mental health. That's how many times you should say it. And when they call in the mental institution and they're carrying you away, say the affirmations in the car. Say them when you get there. And that's how you change it. It needs to be so repetitive that your subconscious says, okay, I get it. We're reprogramming it. I only take inspired action. So when the action feels orgasmic, that's when I move. When it feels like I have to do it or I should do it, you can't move me. You would have to drag me there. You'd have to break my free will by breaking the law to make me do something that didn't feel orgasmic. Say them as they drag you off. Yep. Been doing inner work since early 20s and will continue for sure, but I decided to stop hiding and that I'm worthy of my dream man now. Yes, decide. Decide and it's done. When you decide, you allow, you get out of your way. Here's why, Renal. Not that there's anything wrong with the word balance, but in my life, when I was in my self-aware Barbie mode, that's when the word balance seemed to be like the biggest thing. And when I think of balance, I think of like this balancing scale thing, and it feels like 50-50, and it feels very much like guilt. Like if I'm doing this, I need to balance this. Like it didn't feel good to me. Harmony means the numbers don't matter. Everything just fills in, and there's God's grace that fills in the gaps, and it all works out for me. And there's no guilt, there's no shame. I get to do this and do this and this, and I get to be whoever I want to be. And I don't have to be anything other than who I want to be. And it all gets to work out and it all gets to flow. So balance feels like a transaction to me, or like masculine, and harmony feels very flowy, if that makes sense. Can you do the chorus Basic Babe together with the self-aware Barbie? You could. And if you do that, it would probably supercharge it, because the inner work in the Basic Babe bundle won't allow you to overcomplicate the modules in the self-aware Barbie. So if you could pull that off, that'd be gold. That would be gold. Good. Okay, so someone said, I love the word harmony, makes sense, Renal. Yes, I'm glad. And I don't want, if you guys like the word balance and it resonates with you, please, that's just my own kind of limiting thing. Like I know where it comes from. So I'm just preferring not to use it, but there's nothing wrong with any word other than the meanings that we assign. And in my life, that word for a long time was just written in guilt. And when I started using the word harmony, it just, for some reason, that just resonated with my soul, because balance had numbers attached to it in my mind and harmony doesn't. Yes, balance makes me feel mom guilt. Yes, me too, Justine. I don't know what it is about that word. I don't know what it is. It drives me nuts. I don't know what it is. It makes me feel like I'm supposed to be doing something or being something other than what I'm doing or being. Miss Keek said, Mina, I started texting myself. It gets to be easy before I go to bed, and it's the first message I see when I get up in the morning. Oh my God, that's freaking genius. I didn't know you could text yourself. Like, do you have two phones, or can I just text myself from my own phone? I think that's genius. By the way, I used to do something similar, but I used to set alarms like on my phone, like the alarm would go off and it would say an affirmation, or it would say something like sit down or rest or don't forget to breathe, like things like that. And sometimes I would be out with friends, or I remember my last in-person intensive, my alarm kept going off, and I was showing people, look, my meditation alarm just went off. So yeah, and like do what you need to do to remind yourself. Like I was a bona fide, certified, self-aware Barbie, addicted to the struggle mode for a long period in my time. So I used all of the resources available to me. I did something that I regretted for a long time, but it was really, really helpful. Do this at disclaimer, do this on your own, at your own risk. Here it is. You guys are going to be like, oh no, right? I asked my husband and my oldest son to call me out every time I was making something more difficult than it needed to be. And oh my God, it was like I cringed because they were constantly pointing it out to me. And it probably wasn't the best move because I was super triggered by it, but it got me to quit faster than I thought it would happen because it was staring me in the face all the time. They would be like, Mom, you're ruining this for all of us. Like it was so bad. Oh my God. Do this at your own risk. Okay. If you're super triggered, this may not be good. It has to be with people you really, really trust. But that's how bad it was for me. Rhea said, Mina, is it normal that I feel lighter now since I've changed my mindset for the better? Like life is good, I tell myself, and I feel light. Yes, because all that junk was bonking you down. Yes. Yes. Mina, how can I tell the difference between intuition or a limiting belief coming from a past wound? Intuition awakens once we're doing our inner work. And intuition is a deep internal knowing, and it doesn't have a story. A limiting belief or a past wound or whatever always has a story of, I'm going to die. Okay? It's always like, he's not going to love me. No one's going to approve of you. This is going to happen. That person's going to judge you. This is going to happen. And if you ask yourself, so what, so what, so what? Eventually, it all leads to you dying alone. So that's intuition. Like you just have this deep internal gut level knowing, and there's no story. I need to be called out. then at your own risk, I will deny it if you say Mina told me to do this. Because that was not an easy period in my life. The universe is very consistent. So true, yes. Otherwise, we'd fall off the planet. Love it. You're changing my life, Mina. Ah! All I'm doing is showing up and speaking my truth. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm doing. And that's all any of us need to do. It's like show up and speak your truth. And whether that's on YouTube or in your life or whatever, that's it. Live your best life. And some students may be assigned to you, and the right teachers will be assigned to you, and it all gets to be fun and easy and blissful because that's how easy life is supposed to be. And that's what I've decided. How to stop focusing on other people and just yourself? I seem to always get caught up in people's lives and lose myself in the process. How do I keep myself? So say that I will follow God's divine law of free will. Just like God follows divine law of free will and God never enforces beliefs on me, right? We get to choose whether we believe in God or not believe in God, whether we talk to God or not talk to God, whether we choose the right path or the wrong path or the whatever path. God doesn't break my free will, and I will follow in God's footsteps and not break other people's free will. I will let the world be on its own. I will let God do God's job, and I will let people have their own spiritual experience. How long did they have to call you out before you changed? If I'm being honest, probably a whole year, and then it stopped. Not because I told them to, not because they stopped, because I stopped. I stopped making it complicated. The things that my kids talk about, and I know some people get triggered when I say stuff like this, but you have to remember that we live in a household where this is constantly being talked about. Like especially my two older kids, but even Alina, she's 7. The things that they talk about and they know and they discuss, most adults in their 40s, 50s, and 60s don't know this stuff. But it's not because, it's not because it's difficult, right? It's not because I force them to. It's just because that's the culture of my home. It's the culture of my home. I will hear my kids saying, oh, this is going to be hard. And then I will hear them saying to each other, well, no, I get to decide this is going to be easy. Because they hear their parents having these conversations. I always guide them back to their own intuition, their own guidance. They get to decide how their life is going to be. We have these discussions. My son will say stuff like, oh, Mom, I was talking to my friend and he was saying that da-da-da-da. And then I told him, well, you get to decide that it's not going to be difficult, or you get to decide that your parents are not going to trigger you when they say this. Oh, okay. Like that, people don't know this is an option. They don't know that this is an option. You have to tell them through your own animation. If I was not living this lifestyle and I was trying to teach my kids anything, they would be running in the other direction. Oh, hi, Veronica. Hello. I love this. It's very effective strategy to let your loved ones to call you out. I thought it would not age well, but it helps with radical transformation. It truly creates trust too. Yes. Yes. The one thing that I would say it really helped me with, Veronica, was it helped me see how other people were experiencing me. And that was, oh my God, that was one of the ugliest things I've had to look at. Oh my God. Like it's ugly to have to see how other people are experiencing you when you're doing or saying certain things. So that was a big, big, big wake up call. That when I'm making it more difficult for me, I'm also making it more difficult for everyone else. When I'm judging myself, my family is feeling like I'm judging them. That was a big wake up call. That's why the saying that you can only love someone else the extent of which you can love yourself. Because when you're in touch with divinity, you're in touch with all divinity, right? It became like a true thing. I'm like, oh my God, when I judge myself, I'm judging my kids. They feel judged. When I judge other people in front of my kids, they feel judged. So you have to let go of all that nonsense and live your true bliss and your true life. And then the people that are meant to be inspired by that, they will be inspired because there's something to inspire them with. The best thing I've ever done as a parent is I raised myself. That's the best thing I did, is I raised myself. Because I mean, most of us are just wounded children in adult bodies trying to pretend like we've got everything together when we don't. It's so impressive how people refuse to choose the easy way just by how they're responding. You control how you respond. You control how you respond every single situation, moment to moment. Wow, you're always opening my eyes. Yay, Quintina, thank you. This is a literal eye opener. Yes, yes. And what am I really doing? The reason that I'm saying this is because I want you guys to realize I'm not doing anything other than speaking my truth. And that's really all you have to do. You have to show up and be you. You have to show up and be you, not the wounded you, not the triggered you. That's not you. That's the animal side. That's not the real you. Me too, girl. I realized I was awful at times and a buzzkill. Yes. Oh, that would describe the old Mina for sure. It shocked me, but if you apply high standards to others, apply them to yourself. Yes. Yes. 110%. In fact, apply them more to yourself first and let others be where they are. Yes, Nicole said, I get teary eyed when your truth penetrates. Yes. Yes. It's because you know it's true to your core. To your core. Tina said, I guess my question is not a real problem. I'm not sure what your question is, babe. It feels so raw, but good. Yes. But it's not anything new. Like, if you really think about it, you know this at your core. You know this at your core. 333 people watching. Yes, I love it when that happens. Yay. Thank you, Quintina, for the sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you. I totally agree. Upbringing and unlearning from my parents was so needed to make the changes to become better. I just felt so heavy, emotional, spiritually, and physically, bogging us down with all the untruths, right? All the lies. And not that our parents were lying, they were doing the best that they can, right? They're just wounded people, just like everyone else, doing the best that they can. Irfan calls it spray and pray. But we get to choose. We get to be conscious, intentional beings that get to choose what experience we desire. We may not know all the answers. I never know the how. The how is never my job, anyways. I'm not trying to step on God's toes. God gets to figure out the how. In fact, anytime I've tried to figure out how it's going to happen, I've tied God's hands, anyways, because my brain can't think of all the infinite possibilities, anyways. I just can't. Like, it's not, I can't see all of the happenings of how it may unfold. It's happened in the weirdest ways that I imagined. I'm putting in the call in the provider masculine divine union program again. The people that need to be there, there's a payment plan. The pre-launch special pricing and bonuses end on Monday. Just so you guys know. Yes, Mina, I saw it through those lenses. They did the best they could with what they knew. Yes, they're just human beings like us. We like to put our parents on some really high standard pedestal. And I wish that that was all of our parents, but it wasn't. They were just human beings trying the best that they could. So if you are still trying to seek your parents' validation or approval or permission, cut it out. Cut it out. Mina, how do you deal with hormones of the feminine flow? Normally, I feel like a powerhouse, but during that time, I feel great self-sorrow. It's heavy. Any tips? I need help on perspective. So that's a part of the journey. I used to have a really emotional, like roller coaster kind of an experience during my monthly flow. So what I did is I let my husband know. It was really interesting because I've been tracking my period on this app for like the last 12 years or so. And I think we started when we were gonna have my second child, and so I started like tracking things like that. So, anyways, what I started noticing was that every time, 3 days before every period, my husband and I would get into an argument or a little thing, and I was like, that's weird, right? Like, I have like so much history on this. That's so weird. And because I was journaling and everything, like I could see the pattern. And so I pointed it out to him and I said, babe, if we're going to argue or get into a thing, it's always a few days before my period because I'm off, I'm hormonal. And so I let him know. And so like it became like a funny little thing between us. Like, okay, like, like I'm gonna be on my period. Like you don't have to be on yours. Like, like because he would get hooked into it and all that stuff. And so and then I would like take more time to myself. I would journal more. I would cry. I would release the emotions. And over time, like now I don't even notice it. Like it just comes and goes and it's not even a thing anymore. So allow yourself that grace. Like for years, I had a different schedule right before my period. Like I would not cook that week. I wouldn't clean that week. I wouldn't work that week. Like I had a very different schedule. I shared that in the Babes Club. By the way, the old Babes Club recordings have now been renamed into the Feminine Energy Mega Course. So I had a couple of emails from people saying, I can't find my old Babes Club recordings on the dashboard. And then, oh, I found it. It's called the Mega Course. So sorry about that. I did change the name. It's over 60 hours of feminine energy content. So that's all in there if you guys want to check that out. Yay, Jay said, can't wait for the CEO Boss Queen. I'm so excited to have you in there, babe. You're going to love the other girls. It's going to be amazing. I'm so happy. We're taking you next level. Does the masculine provider program help with triggers? Can we do it if we haven't done the basic babe yet? Does it incorporate anything from basic babe? So yes, it's more, so basic babe is for all triggers. It's by process for all triggers regarding anything. The masculine energy provider program will be focused on relationship triggers and relationship stuff. So it all builds on each other, but you never have to feel like you have to do one program to do another one. Whatever calls out to you, I want you to trust it. As a mom of little ones, I've completely lost myself, don't know who I am or what I want out of life. How can you find yourself again and figure out what you want in life? So every single morning, ask yourself when you wake up, before you even get out of bed, like, who do I decide to be today? Who do I want to be? Who's the real me? Who's the me that is connected with God divinity? And then watch for the signs. Watch what feels good. Start there. That will just instantly be a shift. And I did put on the title of the thumbnail, so let's get into that. You just reminded me that don't lose yourself. Here's why. The minute that you lose yourself in a relationship, the person that you're in a relationship can't feel you. They can't see you. So you're not there for the relationship anymore. You're no longer there. And because you're no longer there, there's no one to relationship with. There's just this illusion, this like contrived, constricted version of you, but that's not really you. That's not you. So you need to keep yourself. What that looks like is that if you had friends before you got married or in a relationship, keep those friends. If you had hobbies that you did, keep those hobbies. If you used to work out, work out. Like, don't lose everything that made you the core of who you are as a human being for this relationship, because that relationship will cease to exist. There's no one to be in the relationship with when you're really not there and only the shell is left. Mina, so is your feminine flow week schedule still different? Not anymore. Not anymore. I got to decide. I woke up one day and decided that it all gets to just flow beautifully. I outgrew that. And it was an important part of my journey. Don't get me wrong. Like, I believe inner work happens in layers. And at the level that I'm at, I don't even notice it anymore. It just comes and goes. It all just flows together. Because I'm so used to listening to my heart all the time and only doing what works good to me in that moment anyways, that I didn't need to separate that anymore. But I couldn't have skipped over it. Like, at that time, I wasn't in that space. Like, I needed to do that. I'm doing the 21-day celebration. What program will I need to do next? Should I bundle Basic Babe with Self-Aware Barbie programs? You mentioned a discount code in the previous talk. So Nicole, so the 21-day and the Struggle Life program is included in the Self-Aware Activated Barbie in the full program, right? So those of you guys that spot that first, I'm gonna basically apply the money that you already paid into the bundle. Keep in mind that that bundle is currently discounted only because I had discounted it for the new year. And then I started training my team and I got busy and we never changed the price back to its original price, which was $9.97. And so I was telling my assistant to change the price and she was like, well, Mina, shouldn't we give people time to get in, right? Like, since it was changed already. So I'm like, well, that's a good idea. So I put on the sales page that the last day to buy that at the current discounted price is $228. And it's not that it's go up, it's just going to go back to what it was. I left it discounted because I didn't have help. So you can do what calls to you. What I believe, yes, if you message my team or if you email me, we'll tell you based on your situation what you should do next, and we're happy to do that. But we never want to supersede or superride your intuition. If you feel like you need to skip to something else in the $1 Million Babe, go for it. How can I still put myself first when I'm a caregiver and not feel guilty about it? Decide that if you are a caregiver and if you want to be a caregiver, you can't give from an empty cup, right? If I came to you and I said, here's my empty cup of coffee, would you like some? You'd look at me like I was nuts, right? What if I showed up here to teach you guys something and I looked like I hadn't slept in days? I looked like I was tired and exhausted and undernourished and just all of that stuff. Like, what kind of advice would I be giving you? Would you even take my advice? Like, what would you like my energy then? Would you resonate with me? I'm guessing probably not. So it depends on the quality of caregiving you want to give. Like, do you want the people that you're caregiving do you want them to get diamond vibes and gold, or do you want them like scarcity vibes and like I'm exhausted and dying, but I will take care of you vibes? Like, it depends on you. Like, what do you want to give? What are you here for? Which course will help me with feminine arts such as softness, sensuality, and a relaxed aura? Definitely do the feminine energy mega course. That 60 hours of training, like listen to it in the back of your life, like while you're working out or eating or whatever. And it will start like, there's a lot of content in there around becoming soft and vibrant. And there's just around relationships and life and parenting and dating and sexuality and every single thing that you can possibly imagine on the topic of feminine energy is in the mega course. In fact, at one point, I was actually telling people that if they wanted to be feminine energy teachers, all they needed to do was watch that 60 hours of content and they could probably teach the stuff. What would you say to a woman who doesn't want to get married or doesn't want to have kids? I would say congratulations of knowing what you don't want. Now choose what you do want. Because what you don't want will just create more of the vibes of what you don't want. So now figure out what you do want. What do you want your life to be? What do you get to do? How do you get to live? What do you get to experience? Let me share the mega course link. It used to be called the High Value Babes Club. Just so you guys know, I just recently changed the name. Here it is. I'll throw the link. This is the Feminine Energy Mega Course. That will keep you busy for like a year, unless you can binge watch 60 hours in a week. I don't know. Stefina, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. How do I book personal sessions with you? So email my babe team and they'll send you the links to, you can either get one-on-one, like 1 hour coaching sessions, like just 1 hour, or you can buy the full package. The full package has 3 sessions, unlimited Babes Club access. Like that's my mastermind for the whole year, group coaching with all of my clients. And then you also get a couple of programs with that. So they will email you the links for that. And let me see, I have my email listed in the description box, but I'll throw it in the chat for you as well right now. How to know the difference between what you want versus what is normal for society. So when you do your inner work, you start feeling good and your intuition starts guiding you into what feels good and true for you. And then you also stop worrying about like what other people will say about it. You start owning your desires. Mina, I just wanted to say I love your love light meditations. Yay, I'm so glad. I want to add a few more to it. Do you guys think it will be too overwhelming if I added a few more? I've been thinking about it, but I'm like, Mina, you've already got like 19 meditations in there. And you're not meant to do all of them. It's just like, do the one that resonates with you at the moment kind of thing. But tell me honestly, will it be overwhelming if I added more? I feel stuck in life. There's a lot I should be doing. There's nothing you should be doing. But time is going by and I'm doing nothing but distracting myself. What can help me get out of the cycle? I would say the 21-day and the struggle life cycle program. That I think you need that one. The exercises in there, run them a couple of times, like do it longer than 21 days even, I would say. That should do it. The whole should thing, it's so deeply ingrained in the feminine consciousness, like we have to cut that out. I can honestly say, and I'm not going to jinx it, I'm going to like knock on wood and all that stuff, that I've gotten myself out of the should trap. I think it was still there up until 2020 because there were still moments in my life where I was just like, I should do this. It's like, no, I don't have to do anything that I don't feel like. Abby said, no, it's not too much. Add more. I love them. Okay, I have a couple more prayers and things like that I wanted to add to the meditation, like my newer stuff that I've added. So I'll definitely do that. Thank you, Abby. Oh, Carlotta just joined the $1 Million Babes Club on YouTube. Thank you, babe. I'm so glad to have you. There's a lot of inner work prompts and their prayers and affirmations. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, I feel stuck too. Just say I choose not to be stuck. I choose to have crystalline clarity on what I want. I choose to ask God for guidance. I choose to release any stuckness to God. Please transmute it into love, God. I refuse to be stuck anymore. Mina, is it okay to not be sure if you want children or not? Or must we be intentional about everything? No, it's okay to be parked in between. It's okay to say, God, hit me. Like I do that too, by the way. Sometimes I'm undecided about a lot of stuff and I'm like, this is a great place because God gets to surprise me on my next level. God, surprise me. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to be? Put me there. You don't have to decide. You can be parked in between. And I think that's such a fun place because it's like you get to be surprised. My best friend, when her and I go to lunch or dinner, and she's not in a mood to decide what she's gonna have, she tells the waiter, just pick something for me and surprise me. And I'm just like, oh my God, freaking out because that's so not me. Like I know what I'm gonna eat at every restaurant before I get there, but she does it and she's always happy. So you can say, surprise me. You're so in tune with what we need, Mina. This is amazing. Yay! I love it. How to show people who have a compulsive way while communicating that I don't have to do what they tell me to do. You don't even have to tell them that. Just remember, watch my agree to disagree video that I did. Like my mom used to stand and nod when people would be telling or expecting something. In front of them, she would look at us and do this. In front of them, they would stand there telling her all the stuff that she should be doing, and she'd nod and she'd turn to us and then go like this while they stood there embarrassed. So just do whatever the hell you want. You don't need anyone's approval or permission. You don't. People who love you will love you even more because that means they now have permission to live their best life too. They have now permission. I think I've changed Irfan's life and my kids' life by standing up for who I really am and just doing whatever the hell I want. You know why? Because my husband's never been happier because he gets to do whatever he wants too. He gets to be free. He gets to be liberated. Of course, there was like a grace period in the middle because it was like, oh my God, like all of a sudden she's just doing whatever the hell she wants. I do love surprises. LOL. Yes. Just God hit me. I have decided to be pleasantly surprised by life and have fun and be supported and feel yummy and satisfied every day. Yes. Oh my God, that just feels so good even to read. I love it. That's such a good idea for surrendering and not being in control of everything. Yes. My husband loves when I know what to desire to. Yep, because it's easy for them to please us. They know exactly what we want. We're clear, and they get to be clear, and they get to choose what they love too. Definitely looking at life differently now. Awesome. Oh, welcome to the $1 Million Base Share. Another member. I am 90% sure I don't want kids and that intention is still loading. Oh my God, I love how you said that intentions is still loading. Yes, I mean, if God has a different plan for you, then it will happen anyways and then you'll love it. Like, this is what I say to my kids. when you've decided that regardless of what shows up or what happens, that you're going to be happy anyways, then it doesn't matter what path you choose because you're going to be happy anyway. So if you go the marriage path, you're going to be happy. If you choose the kids path, you're going to be happy. If you choose the I'm going to stay single, you're going to be happy because you've already decided on the happiness. Like that's a check. It's a done. It's written. I have decided. Everything else just gets to amplify that even more because you've made the decision. When you haven't made the decision and then you're trying to find the decision to happiness through the things, you'll never find it because you haven't made the decision. You're kind of in limbo. Right? Does that make sense? So it all gets to be fun. It all gets to lead to happiness because I've already decided that nothing from the outside is going to create my happiness. It's all coming from within me because I've already decided that I'm going to be happy. I've already made that decision for myself. So make the decision, and then the path that you choose, it becomes irrelevant. Like they're all the scenic paths because I've already decided that I'm going to be happy. I already decided I'm going to be yummy and delicious and orgasmic, and I'm going to be wealthy, and I'm going to have exactly what I need when I need it in divine timing because I get to allow it because I've decided. So from that point, the decision of whether I should go to this college or that college, choose this major or this major, marry or not marry, none of it matters. My 10-year-old came to me the other day. This was a few weeks ago, and he's like, Mom, what do you think about the fact that I may not have kids? And I said, well, is that something that you're deciding? He's like, I don't know. He's 10, by the way. He's like, I don't know. I feel like kids are a lot of responsibility. And so I said, well, that's very conscious of you to be thinking that. You know, I said, the fact that you're already thinking about your future kids shows that you're already a conscious parent, even if you don't decide to have kids. And I'm like, that's your decision. And you may change that decision a million times or you may not, but either way, you get to be happy and you get to choose. So it was like, I think he just like kind of needed that guidance back of like what that means. I've already told my kids, like they know that we are happy with all of your decisions. We love you. You are worthy, regardless of what situations you get yourselves in, regardless of what mistakes you made. Like we made mistakes too. We had the right to make mistakes, and so do you. Our love for you, your worthiness will never be determined by what path you choose. Choose the path that makes you happy. And if you make a mistake, reroute. Just like the GPS in the car says rerouting, and it reroutes itself when it takes a wrong turn. If you've already decided that you're happy, then nothing is a wrong turn anyways. It's all just a scenic route. Just reroute if you don't like that road. Take a different one. It gets to be easy and fun because you've decided that anyways. Makes so much sense. You are a breath of fresh air. Yay! I'm so glad this is resonating. You know, I believe that I'm mostly stage 2, 3, but I felt called to select your basic babe to self-aware Barbie, and I appreciate myself for listening. Yes, I'm so glad because sometimes, you know, you need a refresher or you need a reminder. And so you want to do it from the beginning. That's okay. That's okay. I need reminders too sometimes. The process in the basic babe bundle, the inner work process, I still do that every day. Because the questions don't change. The process doesn't change. I'm just manifesting at different levels now, but the process doesn't change. Once you know that it's worked for you on 10 things, you can use the same process for 10 other things, right? Mina, my husband and I are constantly arguing. He is apologetic, but I'm giving him the silent treatment to protect my peace. Would you advise this? If that's what you need to do, I would advise it, but I would say be a logical, grown-up, rational, loving person and let him know that, hey, you know, I just need a moment to myself and I'm going to just like be over there for a while and I may not talk, but I just need a detox. I wouldn't do it as a passive aggressive kind of way because that wouldn't feel good to me. I don't do anything that doesn't feel good to me. So if I was doing that, I would say giving the silent treatment, does that feel good or does that make me feel bad? And if it makes you feel bad, it makes you feel like you're second guessing yourself or you're not being loving, then just say it and then do it anyways. Does Basic Babe help with feminine energy? All my programs help with feminine energy because they're removing all of the conditioning that makes you anything other than who you are. You are already feminine. The problem is it's buried underground, underneath all the gunks and the shoulds and the woulds and the coulds. I have decided everything I do and everything in life gets to feel good to me. Absolutely. That's your birthright. Like, why wouldn't it? That's your birthright. Like, that's divine. That's so divine. My struggle is not letting people lower my vibration, making me feel down or frustrated. It's hard to turn it around and decide not to let them get to me. They know they can, and doing the inner work will help. Absolutely. Say, I get to be in control of my own vibration. No one is allowed to break my free will. I get to hold my vibration at what I choose and decide. No one else has a control over my vibration. They can't. If you allow, then they can, of course, because you're inviting them in. But if the invitation is no longer there, they can't. Take back the invitation. Just, I am in control. God, you have the invitation to control my vibration, and I will guide you with what I want through how I feel. Right? All right, ladies, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was so fun. Thank you. Oh, it's 12/2/2, of course. And don't forget the Divine Union, pre-launch, bonuses, all of that stuff goes away 2/2/2, and that's when the program starts. I'm going to throw it in the chat. And the CEO Boss Babe is currently enrolling. That one starts next month, but there's a lot of pre-work that I want you guys to do, so that's why I'm enrolling now. Okay, I totally messed that up. Here you go. I put it in now. All right, ladies. Have fun. I'll see you guys later. Oh, it's the weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.